Hey guys, it's me, Eodgamer here, and first of all, thank you so much for 20k subscribers. The growth has been immense this year. 2023 went to 10k, went to 20k, and we literally couldn't have done it without you guys. It's such a blessing, and be it when you join, maybe you were starting from Genshin Impact supporting the channel and follow us over to Honkai Star Rail, or maybe you just joined recently. I just want to thank you guys so much. Especially if you're watching this video too. We'll be doing a very quick Q&A sharing session below. The questions we have actually compiled from the community post that we put out recently or in Discord which we asked, but I want everyone's questions to be heard, so if you didn't have time or like really busy, didn't see or get recommended those community posts as well, not to worry, leave it in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer as many questions as I can. I want as many of your voices to be heard. This is really giving back to you guys as well in a very Q&A fashion. We won't be really talking so much about meta and game technicalities, so some of you have asked like which character is the best, should you build this build or that build. We have a lot of these other stuff on the channel already, so go ahead and check it out on channel, or you can just ask me on Discord. I can point you in the right direction too. I'll just keep it light. This is going to be a light-hearted video meant for anything other than meta technicalities too. We'll also be doing giveaway information and some exciting news towards the end of the video, but let's first jump into the Q&A. Mr. or Miss Maruf, do you have a social like Twitter and Discord server? So both of them are actually in the video description. We have both. Our Discord is very active. We have almost 800 people and we talk about a lot of things, like from Honkai Star Rail to other games that people play in terms of like speculations, upcoming stuff that you want to discuss. We have it all in the channel. I highly encourage any of you who are looking for an active community and you like the content we create, feel free to join. It's a very wholesome bunch of people so far, very active and willing to help each other too. And next up, we have Gamer JSS. Who is my favorite character gameplay-wise and favorite character story-wise? I really love this question, so thank you so much, Gamer JSS, for asking it. Story-wise is although a little bit more trickier because the lore runway currently is kind of short to talk about character development and stuff like that. So far from what I see, like best story development is Dan Heng, because he's the only one that went from like Dan Heng to Imbibitor Lune, and we see a little bit more about his backstory, a lot more in depth compared to a lot of other characters that so far seems a bit surface, but character development usually takes a bit more time to actually see holistically. So far I think Dan Heng is the best for story development, but personally in terms of character story wise that I like, I would say the design of the character and stuff, Su Sang probably is someone that I could relate to quite a bit and be great friends with in real life. I just like her personality of not being like too political, very simple, like simple things, no drama, no nothing. Some people call her a bimbo or whatnot, but I don't think so. I think it's just really nice to not care about too much serious things sometimes and just be very, very authentic. Character gameplay wise, is a bit difficult to say. I'd say that like character design and gameplay is kind of close. Design, I like Kafka the most out of all the characters in the game. One of the reasons why I started Honkai Star Rail. For gameplay wise, I actually do like March 7. As you can see here, like in this clip in the background, I'm using March 7 in my main team. This is like auto battling the Swamp Disaster at the highest difficulty. She's my favorite character. I use her very regularly in main teams on my MOC, Simulated Universe, whatnot. Very flexible. I talked about her in many videos already. I'll link one that I think is interesting. I'll share my thoughts on this character a bit more in depth in the video cut above if you are interested to know as well. And next up, we have Bishop Q Pal ZM. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing the words not in the one way that you want. Feel free to correct me in the comments below if I pronounce it a little bit off, and just to make it sure that I don't embarrass myself or anything. But he's asking, make a bold prediction about the state of Honkai Star Rail in 6 months to a year's time. And this is a tricky one. I know there's a lot of like drama going on in the community about how the game is like slowly declining, lack of content from where it was. I do think that this is because a lot of the people that came over were from Genshin Impact, who are maybe used to a much more active style gameplay compared to a more passive style gameplay, which really are turn-based games. For me, I came from a lot of turn-based games background, and I actually excel in turn-based games compared to like adventure mode gameplay, despite the channel starting from Genshin Impact. But really, I think that it works very well as a nice side game, which a lot of people has associated with as well. The part that really makes the biggest difference, and is why you hear it being like one of the most vocal, is the content creator space. In my opinion, 6 months to 1 year's time, the content creator space will start to concentrate. Creators that just go for the most popular clickbait views and lack really quality or consistency will slowly move to the other games that are coming out, which there are plenty of new games that are coming out. This would eventually like narrow down the content creators quite quickly, and that is why on this channel we always advocate going for quality and consistency and not like talking about every character is a must pull kind of thing. I don't think that really works well for a very long run. In my opinion. The player base, on the other hand, I think would erode much slower than creators, since Honkai Star Rail really is like people have come to accept that it's going to be a side game. There are going to be peaks and troughs, and in the longer term future, for like 1 year's time, I would guess, or beyond, other new regions and simulated universe expansions definitely will come out. So more content, permanent content there. And I think what is what I hope to see, and it's a high chance that it's going to appear, is also player-led content. Currently, like the new rotating Memory of Chaos, simulated universe expansions, regions rely on Hoyoverse themselves to put in the money and development works, whereas player-led content like maybe housing, multiplayer co-op, or PvP, maybe like some kind of boss raid, is more player-led content where you start tackling content together, maybe like guild system or you fight another team. A lot of other turn-based games have this system, and I think it makes a lot of sense because you reduce the reliance on developers to keep forking out the development. But we will see how it goes. I think it is a pretty interesting prediction for the future, bold as it might be. And next up, we have Blue FTW, who asks, will I get every single character in Honkai Star Rail moving forward? I'll be really honest, for as long as I have you guys and you guys keep supporting the channel, I will keep investing in the content, so you definitely can count on me to be here for you guys creating content. I strongly believe in, if I don't have the character, I don't feel privileged to talk about it, because it sounds like talking out of my ass for lack of like a better word. Sorry for like being crude. If I were to create content on a character saying whether it's good or not, I need to at least have the character and be able to draw some kind of comparison. It's just a responsibility that I put on myself to at least talk sense and always at least be able to back up what I say with facts as well. So that is something that I personally have a bias towards as well. Next up, we have Flowery3442, Candid, and this is a person. I lump it all under one in terms of like time management. A lot of you guys are asking how I manage my time for like my real life as well as now, and also if I have like free time outside of what I do with YouTube and my full-time job. And I'll be honest also, YouTube is a very time-consuming thing. For beginning versus now, I think in the beginning it was actually quite easy compared to what it is now, and I'll give you like reasons why is it. When I first started YouTube, volume was very low, but as you get more and more involved with like the community and the game that you cover, you actually want to deliver a lot more consistency and quality, and because of that, you actually take up a lot more time rather than like sporadically, I feel like doing this video so I'll do it. I feel like not doing a video, I'll just chill out. So that kind of like lack of consistency, I would say, is like definitely much more easy. But when you have to like bite the bullet and start having a regular schedule and also making sure that your content is up to par, that definitely is a little bit more challenging. For me right now, I don't have that much free time personally, especially with a day job, a full-time day job that I rely on to pay my bills and stuff like that. The nice part is I really do enjoy making content and playing Honkai Star Rail in games, so entertainment is not an issue, so that like kind of frees up a lot of the time that I have, as well as like balancing out the stress factor. So any free time that I have likely will be to catch up with social friends, socially, or exercise to keep my fitness in check. That's like how I generally divide things, or to learn new stuff as well. As you guys know, I'm trying to learn a new language. I've been to Japan recently. I was inspired, so I'm trying to pick up a little bit of Japanese as well. If any of you are very good with Japanese, feel free to link or comment below, and I'll be glad to like share with you to improve my language skills slowly. One tip, of course, that I have for YouTube, if you want to like manage your time better, is batch doing certain things all together. Like it's kind of like batch recording, batch editing. What I like to do is I like to edit my videos in one session, and I'll try to like film them on certain days, because you kind of like get into that mood. You don't have to keep switching from one thing to the other, like rather than doing thumbnails all in one day. I think it's much more coherent. It sets a bit more routine in that sense too. So that's like how I cope with the time consumingness. And next up, we have Adi Loves Shrimp. Chacones, I know the IGN changes from time to time, a long supporter of the channel as well, asking me, what are my expectations versus reality of like before YouTube and now? Thinking back, I started content creation actually simply just writing guides on Steam and HoYoLab. And along the way, like many people in the comment section will ask me, you should consider doing videos to supplement your like 1,000, 2,000 word posts, so that it's more engaging as well. Some people maybe like to listen, like try to see some animation rather than reading a very long text post like on Reddit or HoYoLab and stuff like that. So eventually I decided to do it, and back then when I did it, it's just a supplementary, so I didn't really have like expectations that I needed to hit this one and that milestone And I felt that that actually was one of the reasons that led to success, because when you don't have too much expectations, you don't get disappointed. But of course, there's like the feeling of pain when you only have like 1-2 views for each video that you post in like the first hour. Quite demoralizing. I still remember back then thinking about it back now. But of course, fast forward to now, the realities of course that I did not expect like back then is the competition. The competition in gaming is extremely tough. Anyone can create gaming content. Of course, the quality varies very significantly and consistency also varies. But more often than not, we find ourselves as Eodgamer channel fighting a lot with the very, very big Twitch streamers right now. And by nature, when you have like 100k subs or close to 1 million subs, and you are a full-time Twitch streamer, you definitely have whole entire teams supporting you, maybe like marketing teams as well, pushing your channel out. For me, I'm personally mostly a one-man show, but not only just a one-man show. Of course, I have my community behind, the guys on Discord, morally encouraging and also like promoting our channel within the community. I really count on your guys' support and your feedback to, of course, keep improving. But that's how I feel like the expectations versus reality in a nutshell for YouTube now versus before as well. And next up, we have Ro and Delta, who are cheekily asking, am I in a relationship, and ask about privacy. I guess it's because YouTubers have more or less no time, so it's like wondering how I find so much time. And don't worry about asking, I'll do my best to answer everything as honestly and transparently as I can. Currently, I'm not in a relationship, but I was prior to starting out YouTube, of course. And YouTube was a really nice way to like get my mind off a lot of things in hindsight. Next up, we have Kenji, who asks, what interests you in games you play and cover? Now, I think this is like split into two, because playing games and covering games totally different. I play a lot of games for many different genres, which a lot of us talk a lot about on Discord as well. I think the games that I really enjoy are skill-based games where I can really get good and stuff like that, or strong story content. These two are like the key things I look out for in most games, and I find myself playing like over a long period of time. I used to play like 4,000 hours of Dota growing up. Of course, the slow grind of getting better is really just quite addictive to me, like improving my skill ability, like leveling up over time. That is kind of like interesting as well. Covering games, on the other hand, is a whole different matter. As a content creator, it becomes less about what you like and becomes more about what the value you create. And I think that's like the key difference of like a good creator mindset to have. So if like let's say for me, I'm personally a total noob at first-person shooter games like Valorant or Counter-Strike. I just get like motion sickness and whatnot. So I probably will never make Counter-Strike or Valorant content ever, even though it's like skill-based or maybe it has very good story content, or either one. It's also dependent on the value that I can add to the community too. And Tinker asks, what game or non-gacha game do you think other people should try? Or what game is super underrated in your opinion? You know that feeling like when you finish a game and that title credits start rolling and you just think to yourself, yeah, I'm not going to experience such good quality games for maybe an entire year or so, and I'm just going to enjoy this feeling while it lasts. In my opinion, like the Legend of Heroes series by Falcom is one of such series I remember last having that feeling. I started from the Trials of Cold Steel on Steam and like quickly got hooked into the entire series, learning about the lore of each individual character. Quality story writing, which I think honestly Honkai Star Rail was even inspired of. I remember in the betas in somewhere in early 2022, when they were still doing the closed beta test, they were actually asking, have you played this game, have you played that game? Trials of Cold Steel or the Legend of Heroes series was actually one of them that had the option of you ticking. So I definitely do think that the developers considered Legend of Heroes as one of the things that inspired the good story writing of Honkai Star Rail. And of course, Legend of Heroes is a bit larger in terms of game size. One small indie game company that I really like, which has excellent story, I think is like Echoes of Star Song by Sigono. I paid $10 for it back then on Steam at the time, and immediately I bought the additional music pack thereafter I finished the game, just because I wanted to like support the developers. I felt like I got a massive steal at $10 to have such a good quality game. Now I think it's a little bit more on Steam, you guys can check it out. I'm not sponsored by either of these games by any means. I just think that it's very nice, very, very good games, are criminally underrated, and I hope more people will enjoy these games as well. I'm not going to comment so much on mobile games and gacha games since I'm in talks with like several potential collaborators with the channel, and if all goes well, we could see some sponsors to help support the channel out as well too. So really excited for the future as well. Excel Shock asks, is there any game or series that I'm attached to growing up? The two that comes to mind, Naruto, Pokemon, probably the biggest two series that I really enjoyed. Games, definitely it was Dota. I started off when it was back in Dota 1, when it was still like the Warcraft 3 era. I had to like connect through like the net or something, some battle net, if I remember. Memory fades me now these days. But I spent 4,000 hours in that. A huge part of my childhood. I still play MOBA today, Mobile Legends, but it's just to get that feeling of that competitiveness of a 5v5 kind of thing. But I don't have so much time to really like competitively commit as much as I did way back then as well. Life gets in the way as you grow older. Next up, Hydrozin asks, is there any plan for a Singapore meetup? It's a fun possibility, but I think I also have to creatively think how to do it so that no one feels left out. For those of you who don't know, actually 70% of the viewers on this channel come from Southeast Asia. Come from outside Southeast Asia rather. So I don't want like anyone to feel alienated in that way where why is EOD only caring about a certain group of people? Really, this channel is for the game rather than for individuals. And I think that's something that I have to think about. Maybe I'll create another channel specifically for life hacks in Asia and stuff like that. So at least it targets a more specific audience in that sense. But who knows, just brainstorming out of thin air if you rather. I do care a lot about bringing the community together rather than splitting it apart. Next up, if you guys are finding this video like too long, it's really all this person, YNNOJ's fault. I was pressured into answering everything non-meta related. Of course, I'm just joking. I do enjoy like making such light-hearted content. And he asks, what is my favorite local food? I don't know whether it's local, but I really like durian. It's my favorite fruit, super fattening and seasonal, so I can't eat it every day. But a lot of Singaporeans love it also, and Malaysians also love it. We are neighbors, like Singapore and Malaysia geographically are side by side, for those of you who haven't been here or know about the region. But if I could really eat durian for all 3 meals a day and die like 20 years earlier from malnutrition, I probably would do it because I'll still be equally happy eating durian every day. Happy Sun asks for advice for teenagers under 20. Now this is like taking me back in time. If I could go back when I was a teenager again back in time and tell my younger self something, I think you'll always be willing to explore new things and be open to mistakes. Of course, you still have to calculate the risks when you are exploring new things and knowing that you're going to make a mistake or have a chance of making a mistake. But if the risks are not life-destroying, like let's say maybe an embarrassment of asking a girl out and etc., I think regretting the chances you did not take is probably going to affect you more than taking chances and the outcome going unfavorably. At least in my opinion, I regret the chances I did not take a little bit more. Joe Average asks us, where do I draw the line between predatory gacha mechanics versus small gambles for fun? Any game that I can't experience the story as a free-to-play player, I would say goodbye, like without a doubt. If you get endgame gear and all that stuff like cosmetics behind a paywall, I'm still okay with that because those aren't necessary. It just is to let the whales feel good about their game. I treat like free-to-play players as actually playing gacha games on hard mode, and that's where the true skill lies. I found myself a lot more challenged when I played a lot of games free-to-play, especially gacha games. Small gambles, I think, is a very vague statement. I don't really exactly know what it means, but I'm gonna guess and think that Joe Average means that I do not mind like spending here and there when do I think it's actually worth like spending a few pennies here and there or a few dollars. I think if the game has good quality and the premium currency offers me a lot more enjoyment in the game, I would definitely pull the trigger, no problem. Like if I really like a particular character and I wanted to play that character as part of my like daily routine of doing my dailies and stuff like that. Honkai Star Rail, Genshin Impact, 2 examples of top class games that are very, very not predatory for a gacha game. It's one of the most amazing free games that I've seen. If you can resist the urge of not pulling, I still can't believe that these 2 games are for free in my really honest opinion. But right now, of course, the biggest worry that I have, and a lot of the community is having, is with the changes Unity Software is making with their game engine and their licensing fees, will there still be free-to-play games in future? I have no idea, because now companies will have to think whether they need to monetize everything. Of course, I talked about this in my other channel as well, on whatever is going behind. If you guys are interested in more information about this ongoing topic, it's a video that I'll link in the video card above. Check it out if you are interested more specifically to know more about this topic as well. And next, Sly and Vizaran ask us similar questions. When can I do YouTube full time, and is the channel sustainable? I think one of the best, and this is where I'm being quite brutally frank with you, one of the best parts about having a full-time job outside of YouTube is that really you can be more authentic in content creation. When you are worried, for example, like you have to make 10,000 views a month or so and so forth to pay bills, not to say that that is enough. Of course, different currency is different, and definitely is not enough for Singapore because Singapore is a very expensive place to live, which is why some of you will notice that my content is centered more around honesty rather than like echoing the herd mentality. So if like a lot of content creators like to post like the most popular opinion to help them get viral, I don't really rely on that. In a sense, I think that is the benefit of having like a full-time job in that sense. And as time goes by, I actually slowly realized that I might never want to do YouTube full-time, since the pressure of money could actually conflict with my content creation goals. Of course, at this point of time, that's what I'm thinking at the very least. The time that I spend making content for now and spend on the gacha game like Honkai Star Rail, I'll be really much better off if, let's say, to financially, like if I skip all those and just work as a tutor part-time, or maybe driving for a ride-hailing service, Uber or Grab, I'll make way much more money. It's just that I really enjoy what I do. And again, thank you guys for being here with me to help me do what I love. I really enjoy this process too. TY4 Rice asks us how I got into photography and any tips starting out. I learned for how to shoot photography when I was serving my mandatory 2 years of military service, which every Singaporean male has to do if you are a citizen of the country. If you have a phone and are able to play Honkai Star Rail, you probably have a decent enough camera to start already. I'll focus first, if I could do it all over again, learning how to shoot compositions like framing your shots, and more of the creative aspect like how do you play with lighting, how do you get your pose correctly of the subject that you're trying to shoot. All these creative stuff that doesn't rely on money, but it's going to take a very long time to gain the skill. If you find yourself like enjoying the process, and maybe you reach a point where you feel that your camera can't do what you really need, maybe the lighting, it can't be manually controlled and you want more blurry background, for example, that is when I'll slowly start to upgrade when I feel that there's limitation in my gear. Some prefer doing it the other way, like buying a cheap camera first, getting a cheap 50mm lens and stuff like that, like a nifty 50. But in all honesty, why would you spend money to buy something that you might not know right now if you will end up liking the hobby, or even like you buy something that is very entry level and you have to sell the loss to upgrade to a better gear later on? My opinion is I work with what you have at $0 cost, just needing to put in the time and effort, and slowly you probably will get an idea of what you really want to focus on, and that will be a very efficient way of picking up photography, in my opinion. Today, in today's day and age, it's very different from like 20-30 years ago when smartphones wasn't around and there was only like film cameras and stuff. So very different advice in today's day and age, in my opinion. Gohas of course asks, is there any advice for starting to earn money as a minor? Every country has its own legal rules and economies that differ as well. What is most efficient in that country and the meta of that country to earn money is very different all around the world. But generally speaking, the internet has made hustles a lot more easily accessible to anyone, regardless of your age. Either way, as a young person, be it whether you are allowed to, if your laws allow you to earn money and work for employment, if it's legal or not, I'm not a career advisor, of course, please check it for more information. But I will ask myself, first of all, what work do I find fun and I don't mind doing for an extended period of time? So let's say I'm a young person all over again, like I'm a minor now, and I wanted to be a YouTuber for games as well. I would actually focus on learning the skills that can be developed that would still benefit me regardless of how old I am. For example, I'll learn how to edit my videos better in my free time, or maybe I will also learn how to do better thumbnail design, because even if I don't become a YouTuber myself and like maybe earn some money from YouTube, I could always offer my services to like very big names like Mr. Beast or something if I'm like super good, and that is also a way to earn money. Or you need to understand that money is always what skills you have and what value you can offer. If you have value to offer to the world, you will always be compensated for your work, and the internet is a very nice platform for that as well. Of course, for more specific advice, I talk a lot about money on stocks, property, how I personally make money as well on my other channel, EOD Money, which is dedicated to much more like specific things. Please support us there as well if you're interested in these topics. I think you will find a couple of the videos there quite interesting already. Do check it out if you're interested. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching to this point. I'll likely be doing a giveaway, especially if you ask questions in the video and your name was mentioned, or maybe you ask questions in the comments below. Definitely you'll be part of the ballot. I will be thinking how to hold the giveaway more efficiently. Stay tuned to the channel for more information, and thank you again for your support. 20k subs is not a lot by any means, but it means a lot to me that a few of you find value in my honest content. Cheers, and see you in the next video.